overthinking can destroy your life. No, it's really true. Overthinking can completely destroy your life, destroy your goals, what you want to achieve, and just make you feel so bad all the time. And no one wants to overthink. No one wants to be overthinking, no one wants to feel bad, no one wants to not be able to be present and connect with others and just be always in this crazy state where you're not even able to be at peace within yourself. And so you probably want to learn how you can stop overthinking. But you may have tried that, and you may have tried different ways, and maybe they didn't work so well for you. And it may feel hard to stop overthinking. And all those ways sometimes may feel like you're just trying to force yourself to stop overthinking, or fight yourself even. And that sometimes even creates more overthinking, right? Who's never felt that we engaged in some practice, some way of stopping overthinking, and then you just became even more overthinking because of that? So today, in this video, I'm going to teach you how you can stop overthinking without forcing it and without fighting yourself. This is a quite counterintuitive way of doing it, but it works wonderfully. And best of all, you feel good doing it. You don't feel bad doing it, you feel good doing it. And even better, it has a permanent, lasting effect in your life, so that you will stop overthinking naturally in your day-to-day life and not trying to force it, trying to control yourself every day, trying to not overthink. It produces its effects naturally, organically, and in a way that not only is not unpleasant, it's actually pleasant and feels nice. So would you like to learn that? Let's get into that. When I was in high school, there was this girl that I had a really huge crush on, and we were good friends. And I wanted to have something more. But I was so afraid that things would not go well, and I would be rejected. And I was constantly thinking over that possibility. I was overthinking all the time about that. And the final result, to cut the story short, was that in the end, I never said anything about that. And in fact, I actually started creating some distance between me and that girl because of all that overthinking. And we were no longer such great friends. Even after some time, we were like more distant apart. So this is the big problem of overthinking. It's that it usually creates the very thing that you're afraid of. And I experienced this that time and many other times in my life, and I think we all experience it. Whether you're a professional overthinker, like I like to say it, or you just sometimes have some overthinking, I think you have experienced this in your life. Just think about any situation where you have been like scared of something important in your life, and you're overthinking about it. And if you let the overthinking win and take the upper hand, eventually what probably happened was that the thing you didn't want to happen happened, and the thing you wanted to happen did not happen. So for example, in a relationship, if you're just constantly overthinking about how the other person might be, doing something on your back, for example, you might actually be creating that from your overthinking, because it will make you take attitudes that will lead to that. Or if if you have to have a difficult conversation with someone, but you're afraid because you're afraid of having conflict or being rejected or not being respected, whatever it is, you're just overthinking that all the time. most likely you will come into that conversation already expecting that to happen and already reacting from that point as well. So you will create that conflict. And there are so many other situations in our lives. If you're going to give a public talk or a presentation, right? And you're just overthinking it, you're probably going to create and give a much worse presentation or talk. If you're a professional player in some sport, okay, let's say you're going to a match and you're just overthinking everything, how it will go wrong, you will probably play much worse. Whatever is the situation, overthinking will always destroy our best chances and generally sometimes our happiness and well-being. So how does overthinking do this? There are two main ways how this can happen, okay? So how does overthinking make you actually do and get the thing that you are overthinking about, that you don't want to happen? Two main ways. First, because you're just thinking it over and over and just focusing all of your attention on that situation that you fear, your mind and body will respond to that and will behave and feel and react based on that reality as if it was a reality already. So based on that possibility, as if it was a reality already, and because of that, they will and you will create that reality. And then the second way this happens is when you're overthinking about some decision that you want to make or some step forward that you want to take, some transformation that you want to create, something that you need courage to do. But you're overthinking. Overthinking makes you never take action. You just stay in that overthinking state without ever being able to move forward and make that decision or take that action, that behavior, say that thing that you need to say, and you just never do it. And in my case, I experienced the two in that story, but we all experience this in our lives. And to be quite honest, when overthinking becomes very dominant in our lives, it can quite literally destroy our lives. It can make you feel bad all the time, always stressed, always in pain, never in the present moment, never being able to truly connect with others, connect with yourself, connect with life, enjoy the present moment, right? Never being able to be authentic, to express yourself authentically, who you are, and never being able to really live a life of meaning and purpose, alignment, to bring out all the beautiful potential that you have inside you, because you're just stuck in that overthinking state. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for any of my students and clients, and I don't want that for you. So how can you stop overthinking? And the way that I'm going to teach you how to stop overthinking today is probably different than most of the ways that you've seen and most of what you've tried so far. And it might be actually a little bit counterintuitive. So let's get into that. To understand how to stop overthinking, we first need to understand why it happens. This is always how I teach. I always first help people understand why something is happening, and then from that place, understanding how we can transform. So why does overthinking happen? Overthinking in itself is just a symptom. It's just a consequence of something underlying. Overthinking is a response from a state of anxiety, fear, and survival mode. That's what creates overthinking. Our bodies and brains and minds have evolved to when there is something scary, something dangerous, some potential threat in our surroundings, they activate the thinking part to possibly preview and foresee anything that can go wrong. Anything, constantly. No break. Look around, think about everything that can go wrong, the worst possible case scenarios. You do that, your mind does that, your brain does that, so that you can be ready for that possible threat and react to it. So there's a reason. Overthinking is not just something out there trying to get you, trying to hurt you, right? It's not your thoughts and your mind fighting against yourself. They're not against yourself. There's a reason that it exists. And it's a reason that is meant to help you. Imagine if you are, imagine you are walking in the street at night, and you see some group of weird, people coming at you, and you're alone and it's dark and they don't have a great look. What will you do? Your mind will instantly start thinking about everything that you can do to get away from that situation, right? Everything that can go wrong, so that you can prevent that or react to it, right? That makes sense. That can save your life. So thank you, overthinking. Thank you for existing. You're actually pretty useful in my life, right? So overthinking itself has a function in specific situations. The problem that you're probably thinking about now is, okay, but I'm having overthinking most of the time, and in situations where it's not helping, because as you said, Filipe, this is you talking to me, as you said, Filipe, in those situations where that situation is not even happening, I'm just creating it, I'm just manifesting it, because I'm overthinking. So in this case, overthinking is not helping me, it's harming me, and you're right. So if overthinking has a function in our lives, it's important. But in this case, it's not properly fulfilling its function, and in fact, it's malfunctioning. It's working in a way that's harming you. Then why is it doing that? Because if your mind and your brain and your body is putting you into a state of overthinking, this is very important. It's because it believes that you are in some form of danger. There is some threat. And so it has to put you in that overthinking state. Okay? Overthinking is a symptom on the surface. You experience it, but it's on the surface. It's just a symptom of an underlying cause. And that cause is an emotion of fear, anxiety, some reaction to a perceived sense of unsafety and threat and danger in your life. And that's what's truly creating your overthinking. And so, instead of trying to fight overthinking, trying to distract yourself from overthinking, or kill overthinking, or eliminate overthinking, which is what most people try to do, and most techniques that you see will help you do, will teach you to do. Instead of that, you want to understand that emotion in you that feels afraid, in danger, unsafe. You want to understand that, why it feels that way, and help it return to a feeling of safety. And then you will naturally stop overthinking, because there will be no more need for that, and you will not need to fight or force yourself to stop overthinking anymore. So I will help you and guide you in how to do this process. But before that, I just want to really highlight how much different this approach is, and the impact that this can have in your life if you take this approach instead, okay? So the difference is, most people will try to stop their overthinking by either distracting themselves from it or fighting that overthinking, like trying to use willpower, or finding some way to silence the mind. And I'm going to talk about meditation today. But even meditation can be done from this point of view, and most often it is. And meditation is, I'm going to meditate to silence my mind, to silence my thoughts. And this is the way most people try to do it, and this is the way this is usually taught. And this is not how I want you to do it, and not how I will teach you to do it. And here's why. If your overthinking is coming from a place of a part of you feeling unsafe, feeling under threat, how do you think that part of you will feel if you just try to silence it, to not listen to it, to cut it out, to fight it even more? Fight. If someone is fighting you, you're feeling afraid, right? Or you're feeling stressed. So you're just increasing and exacerbating the very thing that's creating overthinking. You're just creating more inner unsafety. And that these techniques can work on a short term and on a surface level. They can work and often work, but not in a good way. And I'm guessing that you've experienced that. Because first, they feel like you're fighting yourself. Like you're forcing, even if you're not fighting, you're trying to force yourself into that state. And that always creates some inner sense of anxiety and inner conflict. Okay? And usually, how these techniques work is they basically hide the real root causes behind your overthinking and anxiety. They hide it so that they're not coming up, but they're still there. And this has several problems. Because first, this is something that will make you disconnect even more from yourself. So when you do this, you will be cutting out that part of you, which is a part of you. So even though maybe on the surface you'll be feeling and looking like you're calmer, but you're more disconnected from yourself. So you can't be as connected to yourself and to others, live as authentically, have as much purpose and joy and genuine happiness and meaning. So this is one bad thing about it. But the other bad thing is that this will build up. Because it's stored there and suppressed, it will build up and it will express itself in worse ways. And the least worse ways, you'll just eventually explode. But usually, what happens is as you keep that part of you hidden and suppressed, and you on the surface you're like acting calm, but that underneath it's not solved. You're disconnected from that part. It will have to manifest in worse, concealed ways, like mental disorders and even physical disorders and pain with time. So that's why I don't want you to go this way. And I think if you could, you also wouldn't want to go this way. You just don't know how, right? Because let me ask you, do you like this way of having to fight or force yourself to stop overthinking? Do you like it? Or would you, if you could, would you rather choose to be able to stop overthinking without having to fight yourself or force it? And in a way that is just natural, that when you do this process, naturally, you will stop overthinking in your day-to-day life without having to do anything else. When you do this process, you'll naturally stop overthinking. Okay? It's not from night to day or not day to night. It will be a process, but it will decrease naturally. And as you go along this process, it will stop naturally, because instead of addressing the symptoms, which is the overthinking, you're addressing the root causes, and those are our emotions and what's underlying them. So let me ask you, would you like to learn how to stop overthinking without forcing or fighting yourself in a way that will allow you to do that naturally in your life, so that you naturally stop overthinking and instead can enjoy life and be present and connect? Well, so if I think that's a yes, for sure. So how can you do that? As I explained, your emotions are feeling there's some sense of danger, of unsafety. And the process, there are two levels of this process, okay? And I would suggest you start with the first level, which is easier to do and the right one as your beginning, and then you go to the deeper level. And the first level is do things that help you and your emotions feel a sense of safety, increased safety. And there are various things that can help you do that. There's a big list that you can get in the description of this video, where I give you a lot of different activities and ideas for how to regulate yourself, how to bring safety to yourself. That's a lot of different possibilities. And some of them will work better for you than others, okay? So that's the idea, is that you find which one works best for you. But they all have something in common, because they help your body and mind feel safe. And they can be, for example, spending time in nature, under the sun, spending time just doing nothing, just relaxing, spending time just meditating. For some people that really helps, for others not so much at the beginning. But it's this meditation, as I was explaining before, is not with the goal of silencing the mind. It's the opposite. It's with the goal of bringing safety to your mind and to your overthinking parts. Okay? And this is a very big difference that I will explain further in the second level. But if you're doing this, you don't want to meditate to silence the mind. You want to meditate to make the mind and make your overthinking part feel safe. And that's the opposite of silencing it. That's the opposite of that. What you want to do is welcome it, listen to it. If your overthinking part is just a part of an emotion that is trying to keep you safe, right? It's just telling you that there's some danger. What will make it feel safe? You silencing it, or you listening to it and validating it, right? If it were you and you had this really important message to tell about safety to someone, what would make you feel safer and calm down? That person trying to silence you and put you on a way locked out in a room, or that person listening to you and making you feel heard and seen and validated and reassuring you? Second one. So this is what you want to do, okay? And this is already taking us to the next level. But before that, there are many other activities. So meditating in this way, where you're not trying to silence your mind, but you're just welcoming it, validating it, reassuring it, okay? Just being present with your thoughts without trying to change them, but actually making them feel safe. There are many other ways. You can do breath work. You can do some stretching, some yoga, some tai chi, some mindful movement. You can spend time with friends that you love and people that you love. Co-regulation is very powerful. You can journal. You can do so many things. So make sure to check out that list, okay? And all of these are designed and meant to help you bring a sense of safety. So if your emotions are feeling unsafe, then You bring a sense of safety and they will relax. Now let's go to the deeper level, because this is where things really get powerful. They already are very powerful, but now they get really powerful. And that's understanding the specific cause of your emotion, believing that you're unsafe. So not just on a general level bringing safety to it, but understanding the real reason, which is usually something subconscious, that your emotion is feeling threatened by. It's the reason that's making it feel unsafe and leading to overthinking. And this requires you to take that emotion, welcome it instead of fighting it, because otherwise you'll never understand it. It requires you to go into that emotion and bring awareness to what's underlying it. Bring awareness to the reasons why you're having that emotion. You have to, instead of disconnecting with that emotion, instead of disconnecting with the part of you that is feeling anxious and overthinking, you need to connect with it, so that then you can build, as I was saying, you can build that trust, that safety, and ask that part of you, ask that emotion why it believes you're unsafe, what's the threat, what's the danger, okay? And just doing this process, just doing this, as I was explaining before, in itself is very healing, because just by connecting with that emotion, just by listening to it and validating it and understanding it, what you're doing is you're making that emotion feel safe, just by doing that. As Dr. Stephen Porges says, safety is the treatment. So just by bringing safety to that emotion, you are already making it relax much more. So if all you do, there's another step to this, but if all you do is this, you will already feel a great difference in your life. Okay? If all you do is you connect with that emotion, instead of running away from it, trying to silence it, trying to fight it, if you connect with it, you welcome it, you are present with it, and you listen to it. You say, okay, anxiety, okay, overthinking, tell me, what's up? Just let me know, what's your fear? What's making you feel unsafe? I want to understand. I want to help. Just doing that can completely transform that emotion, because it will feel safe, it will feel heard, and because of that, it will stop overthinking. And let me tell you why. Because the reason why that emotion was making you overthink before is that you were not listening to it. You were trying to silence it, to not listen to it. And because it feels there's some danger in your life and it's trying to protect you, it needs to increase and it needs to become stronger. So it makes you overthink more and more and more. The more you try to ignore it, the more it needs to become stronger, so that you will listen to it and take care of yourself, right? So that's the reason why you were overthinking before, and why overthinking was escalating more and more. It's because you were trying to ignore and silence the overthinking, which is just trying to give you an important message and help you. So it was escalating. But now, because you decided to listen to it, listen to the message of your overthinking and anxiety, and you validate the message and you understand it will relax, because now you heard it, you've seen it, you validated it, and its job is done. You're not repressing it anymore. And that's super powerful. Just that alone can transform your overthinking habits forever. So if all you do is this, I can promise you that you will overthink much less in your life, and in a way that is natural. You'll not be worrying, trying to fight yourself or force yourself to stop overthinking. You will naturally find yourself like, oh my god, like I'm not even overthinking today the entire day, or for the past 2 hours, or for the past month. I haven't overthinked much, look at this. And all because I connected with my emotions, my overthinking part, and heard it, listened to it, validated it, made it feel safe. Okay? This is the counterintuitive way of stopping overthinking and anxiety. Alright? But it works much better. Now, I told you, you can go even deeper there. And yeah, when you wonder, this is deeper work. And this is usually even work that I do with my clients and students because it's even more delicate. But when you understand the reason why your emotion believes you're unsafe, then you can work with those beliefs. Okay, this is deeper work here, and we're not going to go much into that. If you want help with that, send me a message. My contact is below, and I can see how to help you. But once you understand those beliefs, you can start working with those beliefs, changing those beliefs. Again, not forcing the change, but just showing that emotion, showing yourself a new reality. Because usually those beliefs are coming from a moment in your past where you really felt unsafe, and those beliefs were created in that moment. And that emotion is still using those beliefs. So it's like that emotion is stuck in that moment in the past, is frozen in that moment in the past where you were unsafe, right? We call this trauma. And that may be why it's feeling unsafe now. So even if you look around you and you say, there's no reason why I'm feeling like anxious and overthinking, there's no reason, like I'm safe. For your emotion, it may be stuck still in a moment in your story, in your experience, where you were unsafe. And it was frozen there. It's stuck there. And it still has those beliefs. And they're manifesting now in the present. But they're subconscious there. And this is how this process of connecting with your emotion, bringing awareness to it, can completely transform this. Because by doing this, you'll be able to help that part of you, that emotion of you, let go of those beliefs, see a different reality, and come back to the present with you and return to safety. And this is what really helps you create permanent, lasting change and transformation when you do this process. Okay, when you do this, like, your overthinking will really come down and stop, and that will be a very lasting and permanent change, because you are letting go, you are releasing the beliefs, the burdens that were making those emotions feel stuck, keeping them stuck in that survival state. And instead they return to the present, and now they're free from that and they can be safe. And so they're no longer needing to make you overthink. Okay? So this is the deeper work, and this really helps you create a lasting transformation and stop overthinking in a very permanent way. And of course, life goes on and you'll have other difficult moments, so you'll need to keep doing this emotional hygiene. Okay, so it's permanent, but you need to keep doing that, just like you need to keep taking showers every day, right? Yeah, so this is the process that I want to tell you about, and I invite you to try these steps. I talked about 2 levels, and mostly there are 2 levels, but 3 steps. We can make them 3 levels as well, okay? So the first one is just doing activities that help you feel safe. The second one is just connecting, going deeper and really connecting with your underlying emotion, your anxiety, your overthinking part. Instead of fighting it, connecting with it, understanding it, validating it, seeing it, making it feel safe, seen and heard. And that's super powerful by itself. Like, by itself, this is life-changing, okay? You don't even need to go further. And also the level before is very powerful. It tends to not be so permanent and deep and lasting, because you're not addressing the real emotion, but you're bringing safety, and it's very powerful. But this second level is super powerful, okay? So, and then you have the third level, where after connecting with that emotion, validating and understanding it, you actually work with the underlying beliefs and traumas to release them and return to the present, and that's very deep and permanent. Alright? So these are the 3 methods, the 3 steps in the 3 levels. Try them one by one and go deeper and reach out if you need help. And I can't wait to see how this will help you. Alright? So let me know how this will help you in the comments or send me a message. I always like to get your feedback. And one last thing before you go. As you probably understood, this process of bringing safety to your emotions and reconnecting with it and changing, even understanding the underlying beliefs and traumas and healing them, requires you to bring awareness to that emotion and to the underlying parts of that emotion, which are usually subconscious. And so you probably are like thinking, okay, how can I do that? I don't know how to bring awareness to my emotions. I don't know, they're subconscious, I'm not aware of them. And I want to help you because this is a key. If you can bring awareness to your emotions, you can transform your life in incredible ways. So emotional awareness is the skill, the one skill that you need to be able to transform your life, your emotions, and to stop overthinking in this case, right? But to create any other transformation in your life and to be able to work with your emotions and heal them and regulate them. It all starts with emotional awareness. It all starts with you being able to bring awareness to the underlying emotions behind your patterns, in this case behind your overthinking, and then understanding it, connecting with it, right? And that's a process, a skill that you need to train. And because of that, I've created a very complete guide to emotional awareness, which includes even a step-by-step guided meditation and exercises. And you can get that guide for free, that emotional awareness guide for free, so that you can start developing emotional awareness and break the cycle, reclaim your power and rediscover joy in your life. You can get it for free and the link is in the description below. Just follow the link and enter your name and email address and I will send it to you immediately. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching this. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and comment if you enjoy this and if you want more of this. I'm Dr. Filipe from the Star Soul School and it's been a pleasure to have you here today. See you next time.